Okay, chiquiticos. It's payday. I'm trying to stop this music. Give me a second. Alright. Come on, Shakira. I need you to stop now. Okay, let's listen to music. Okay. So, chiquiticos, hola. Thought you might like that music. Today we're going to talk about a new conjugation form. Okay, you'll find out what it is in a second. Let me get my zoom correct here. Okay, hoy es martes, el 9 de febrero del 2010. That's the date, okay, the 9th of February. Meta. Our meta is our goal. You can see my little soccer cleat on the end of my A. That means that's your goal for the day. Learners will be able to, número uno, define the imperfect and the preterite. Número dos, 2, differentiate between the imperfect and the preterite. And number 3, número tres, use at least 2 different pronouns in a sentence in the imperfect and 1 in the preterite. Now, if none of this sounds familiar, please come see me Monday during your lunch, or 7:30 in the morning, or email me and we can figure something out. Okay? Alright, let's move on. Preterite. Who knows what it is? We talked about it a little bit. It should sound familiar, should look familiar. Basically, preterite is a way to talk about the past. That's ended, it's over. So a way to remember it is, let's not pretend it's over, it's the end. That's when you use the preterite. If you go to studyspanish.com, grammar number 63, you'll be able to find your preterite endings. And that's what you put on your verbs. Okay, on your activity sheets, I want you to write down what are the preterite endings for AR, ER, and IR verbs. And for a bonus, conjugate ser in the preterite. Okay, remember what I told you about ser. It will F you up in the preterite. Alright, that's just a little hint. So remember, the preterite, let's not pretend. It's over, it's the end. Now when you're talking about your endings for your verbs, pronouns go hand in hand with that. And hopefully we all know our pronouns. If you don't, here's a quick review of them. Okay? You have yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Yo means I, tú means you, él, he, ella, she. Usted is you formal. Okay, remember the difference between usted and tú. Nosotros is we, nosotras is also we if it's all girls, ellos is they, ellas is they if it's all girls, and ustedes is all of you. If you want to review this, you can go to studyspanish.com, grammar number 7. Okay, you got your pronouns down? Yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. It should be like second nature. Okay. Now let's get to the imperfect. There's a pretty funny way to remember what it is. It's also talking about the past, as you can see by the last word under imperfect, but it's a little bit different from the preterite. Remember, the preterite is over and done. It's the end, it's finished, there's no coming back. The imperfect is just that. It's not quite defined, it's not quite as clear-cut. So the way I remember it is I-C-U-P. Okay, I cup, or I-C-U-P. Imperfect talks about an action that was interrupted, an action that was continuous, an action that was something you used to do or undefined in the past. So if I'm saying for interrupted, when you called me, I was eating. That would be imperfect. I was eating. was playing the flute for 5 hours. That's a continuous action in the past. I was playing the flute. Something you used to do. I used to eat bananas every day when I was younger. The other U for ICUP is something that's undefined. Like, once upon a time there was a girl. So you'll see that a lot in fairy tales. And finally, they're all in the past. So you use the imperfect when you have an interrupted action, a continuous action, something you used to do, or something that is undefined in the past. Okay? Remember, ICUP. No, I don't really, but that's how you remember the imperfect. Okay, moving on. Let's look at what the imperfect looks like. You see those little blue words on the side? What are those called? We just did them. If you said pronouns, you are correct. Let me move back a little bit. Okay, sorry. You have yo, you have tú, you have él, ella, usted, you have nosotros, nosotras, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Those are your pronouns. Now remember, in Spanish we have AR verbs, we have ER verbs, and we have IR verbs. And the endings are going to be different depending on what you're talking about. The good thing about imperfect is you only have AR to differentiate from ER and IR. ER and IR verbs have the same endings. So real quick, here are your endings. For yo, with AR verbs, it's aba. Can you repeat that? Aba. Tú, abas. Él, ella, and usted, aba. Nosotros and nosotras, abamos. Now notice your accent over the A. And then finally you have ellos, ellas, and ustedes, aban. Okay? For AR verbs in the imperfect tense, aba, abas, aba, abamos, and aban. Did you notice that yo, él, ella, and usted are the same? If you did, you're smart, brilliant, and wonderful. If you didn't, that's okay. But notice that they have the same ending, so you have to have your pronouns to tell you who you're talking about. Yo hablaba. Él hablaba. I used to talk. He used to talk. For your ER and IR endings, which you can't really see the ER and IR, but I promise it's there in red, you have ia for yo, ias for tú, ia for él, ella, and usted, íamos for nosotros and nosotras, and ian for ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Notice again that yo, él, ella, and usted have the same ending. So you must tell who you're talking about. Okay? For example, yo comía, I used to eat. Ella comía, she used to eat. Repeat them with me. Ia, ias, ia, íamos, ian. And notice your accents over that I. Okay? If you want more practice with it, you can go to my favorite, studyspanish.com, grammar number 64. Yay! Alright, chiquiticos. We're almost at the end. Real quick, let's do 2 sentences, one in the preterite and one in the imperfects. Can you tell which one is in the preterite and which one is in the imperfect? Just by looking at the endings. Well, if you said the first one, yo hablaba mucho, is the imperfect, you're correct. And tú hablaste mucho ayer is the preterite tense. Okay? Yo hablaba mucho, I used to talk a lot. Tú hablaste mucho ayer, you talked a lot yesterday in class when you shouldn't have. Now I'm going to have to give you detention. Okay? So that's the difference right there. Yo hablaba mucho, I used to talk a lot. That's the imperfect. Tú hablaste mucho ayer, you talked a lot yesterday. Okay? Keep practicing. Go to studyspanish.com, fill out your activity sheet if you're in class right now. 3 things you learned, what don't you understand, and what was the bonus question? Do you remember? I hope you do, or it will F you up. That's a clue. Don't get me in trouble. Okay, until next time, chiquiticos. Adios.